You're listening to the podcast.
What's up, guys? Honestly, Dav here. What's up, guys? Dav here. I've got an honest review of gingerbread cookie Kit Kat. I don't know if it's actually focusing that well or not. Yeah, this should be interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this. I got it for Christmas recently. Yeah, just open it. All right. Okay. It's a nice light brown color as opposed to just the regular chocolate. Seems to be a hole in the side. I don't really know about that. Let's give it a shot. Honestly, it's definitely not as good as the regular Kit Kat. I kind of knew that going into it. Like, there's no way you can beat a regular Kit Kat. Especially with gingerbread. Gingerbread's not even that good. But I give it like a 6.5 out of 10. 7 if I was really feeling festive. Maybe an 8.
Dark Mode. Presented by FPP Broadcasting. This week's episode is number 19 on the top 20 bands of all time, according to myself, Young Daviel. But yeah, it's Daft Punk, guys. But before I dive into it like too hard, let me just oh yeah, cracking something cold open. Listen, if you guys can guess it in the comments, I'll buy you one. You only get one guess. Oh, okay, that was too much. But yeah, man, Daft Punk. This is another band, kind of like Blink, where I knew them from a very young age. Before I even like got into like music, or before I even got into the band Daft Punk, I knew a song. Can you guess which song? You probably can guess it. It's it's around the world. But I wonder if you guys can guess where I first heard it. Write down in the comment. No, I'm not gonna do this. It's from this animation on Newgrounds. But you can find it on YouTube too, I guess. But it's called Perfect Kirby. And you can tell like a lot of like hard work like went into this like animation. And it's really good. And like I just like watched through it again recently, and like honestly it kind of holds up. Obviously the animation isn't like great, but you know, this is like, I think it's like early 2000s when they did this, so I don't know, it's pretty impressive to be honest. But yeah, so I'm like 9 years old when I watched this, and mind you, like I very few bands have like captured like my attention because I'm just not really into music at this point. But there's a part in I'll put a link in the description of the Perfect Kirby episode, but it's just for a very small amount of time where they play around the world, and I had never heard music like this, and I was just like, oh boy, I was like, that beat kicks in, and I was just like, oh my god, just with them saying around the world, I was like, I felt like I was in a trance, man. Yeah, that was like my reaction. It was great. I that part definitely like resonated with me for like a, still today, man. You know how just like random like stuff will just like pop in your head from just like your past, and you'll just be like, "Huh, I remember that." Well, that scene in Perfect Kirby just pops up in my head like all the time, especially when I hear Daft Punk. That's the first thing I think of. The next memory I would probably have of Daft Punk is way back when the Flipnote Studio was like out for Nintendo DS, and it was like TikTok basically, but it was just animation from the DS. Like people would draw on there with their stylus, and like some of them were like really good for just being on a DS. Like so much work went into these animations on here. And I remember a popular sound was a harder, better, faster, stronger. And that was the first time I heard that one too. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I love this song. Not even realizing that it was like Daft Punk basically. And that I should start listening to them way sooner. But, I mean, listen, hey, it all came around. Then someone in my friend group showed me One More Time. I don't remember who it was. It literally could have been any of them. But that that song, man, that I can solidly, concretely say that that's my favorite Daft Punk song. Not only is it my favorite song, but I work with this guy. He's Colombian and he like basically only listens to reggaeton music, which like no diss on reggaeton music, but like I mean, come on, you got to mix it up like a little bit more. But I come into work and he's blasting it like every day. But one day I come in and he's playing One More Time. And I'm like, yo, you like Daft Punk? I'm like, bro, we could have been listening to Daft Punk this whole time. And he's like, I love Daft Punk. And I was like, oh my, I was like, come on, man. So yeah, we kind of like broke down the borders between us. I mean, like, not like actual borders, but like the musical like barrier, I guess, because we could both vibe with the same thing now. And that's kind of when I decided that they were going to be in the top 20 because I was looking at them and they obviously are like really talented, but I was like they're just like remixes of like songs like that have already been made with like them like adding like a few couple of extra like, improvisations or whatever, like, cutting and editing. I mean, I was like, can I really put this band in the top 20? I was like, are they really like top 20 material? And man, I listened through their albums, and yeah, they totally deserve it, man. Honestly, they do an incredible job, and they like just like pave the way for like a ton of music that is extremely popular today. Like I don't even know. They're a true pioneers, man. You gotta respect it. So I've been crafting a 10 out of 10 album playlist, and I've asked a couple of my friends like what they think like are like 10 out of 10 albums, and Colin said Discovery. And I had never really like listened to the whole thing through, but he he said, "Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. You got to listen to it." And so I did, and I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, "I'm so stupid. Why have I not been listening to this whole album? I've only like picked out a few songs, man." And so then that's when I decided to like listen through all of them, and I was like, "Okay. Okay, all right. This is a great duo right here, man. You got to give it to him. Um, Ranking the albums, Discovery is obviously a 10. Homework. Let's be honest here, guys. Is it really a 10? Is it if you think it's a 10, I'll allow it. But honestly, it's like a 9 at best for me. Human After All. This it's like I would give this one a 9, but I'd really probably give it like an 8, maybe 7.5. And then Ram, dude, I don't know. I guess a 10, probably like a 9.5, maybe a 9. Anywhere between a 9 to a 10 on how funky you're feeling. If you're feeling funky, it's definitely like at least an 11. If you're feeling kind of sad, it's also probably an 11. um but yeah, man, when did Homework come out? Like 1997? Let me just check my sources real quick. I can't seem to get to my sources. Okay. Yeah. 1997. So I was 2 when this album came out. Man, I can't even imagine like hearing it like in a club. Like, dude, I wonder what the vibe would have been. It would have been so good. Maybe. I don't know. Drew? Yo, what's going on, man? Not much. Just chilling with Luna at the crib. Oh, dude, she's great. She's nice and fat. Yeah, you should come over and see her, man. It's been a while. Oh, you guys are going to Sporty? Um, yeah, I've got some projects I've been meaning to get some work done on, and I just you'll buy me a beer? Oh God, you know it. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I know. I said this last time too that I would come out, but I mean, it's I've got some things that I've been working on. Yeah. You guys go out this time. Listen, I promise next time I'll totally. Yeah. No, yeah, no. Tell him I said hey. Uh, yeah, man. Yeah. No. Well, yeah. No. I understand. Listen, go go run a rack for me, huh? Yeah, I really don't go out. So I can't even really tell you what like the club vibe like is like today. Um I don't know. I just like don't do well like in crowds. And by crowds I mean 6 or more people. 2 to 5 is like where like I feel like most comfortable. And it's not I'm not uncomfortable in crowds, but I don't really know how to like put this. It's like I don't feel like myself when I'm in like a crowd. You know what I mean? I feel like a side character. Like I don't like how some people feel like the main character. They're like, oh, this guy's the main character. It's like no. In a group of like 6 or more, it's like, bro, I'm like immediately in my own mind like demoted to like side character. I wouldn't say like NPC. Like I wouldn't go that far. Maybe in like a group of like 10 or more people. that's when I like completely like just like shut down, and I'm just like I don't want to say anything. Um, because I feel like no one would really care. And I'm not like upset or bad or anything, or I don't feel like a certain way, but it's just like, I just feel like what I have to say like isn't important. I don't really know when I started to feel this way. I mean, it's obviously somewhere around like the dark time, fifth, sixth, seventh grade. I remember being pretty talkative, but I don't know. I just remember like all the other kids like thinking I was like really annoying, and I didn't really understand why. I don't know, man. It wasn't good at home. It wasn't good at school, I kind of had like nowhere to go. And that's why I feel like I don't like talk as much, especially if I don't like know you that well, or if like, there's like people I don't know around, or if there's people I'm just not that close with around. I don't know. I just don't feel like talking. I don't think it's sad necessarily. I don't mind it. I just, I just like sit there and listen. People seem to think it's okay. If they think it's weird, I don't know. I'm sorry. Um, like if I have to talk over someone, I'm not gonna do it, man. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna let them talk for as long as they want to. And I feel like this, I don't know. It definitely stems back to all the other kids like thinking I was like super annoying, and also like a combination of my dad yelling over pretty much anyone and anything and being as scary as possible. Because a grown man yelling at like full capacity is like pretty scary. I just didn't want to be like that. And I saw myself becoming that. So I kind of just like, I don't know, snipped it completely. On to the honorable mentions. You already know how this goes. These bands are probably in the top 100, ranked somewhere. Not going to do a top 100 bands. I literally don't have time for that. Number one being Gorillas. Listen, I love me some Gorillas. I really do. In a different doorway, they're definitely in the top 20. But I won't dive too much into them. We have some Daft Punk knockoff bands in here too, and knockoff meaning that like they kind of like have like the exact same sound. One being Twerp, TWRP. Listen, I know that band's kind of like silly, but they kind of go hard. I'm not gonna lie, they can go really freaking hard. Another one being Square Pusher, also can just go super freaking hard. Great songs, man. Great songs. Yellow Magic Orchestra. YMO, baby. Another band Colin recommended to me. Colin's recommended a lot of bands to me. I appreciate that. All my friends have. But most of my other bands just come from my Spotify discovery, which shout out to Spotify. I know you're kind of like a interesting company. I'll say that without being too detailed, I guess. Yeah, man, YMO. Great band. Thundercat, I mean, I he wasn't gonna be in the top 20. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I literally had an opportunity to see him and like I just kind of passed it up. It was expensive, man. It was like 50, $60 to see him. I was like, bro, I respect your bass playing, but like, come on, bro. I ain't paying that much. Oh, I feel stupid for passing it up. I really regret it. I really do. And last, no, wait. There's two more. Sorry. Phoenix. Maybe it's just because they're French. I don't know. And Avalanches, man. Some more dance music for you. I love that one album. I'm not gonna look it up. I forgot what it's called. But the since I left you, I felt the so. You know that song. Yeah, I think this is about it for this episode. I'm trying to keep these like under like 20 minutes. Top 20 under 20 minutes. Not literally. Each episode's under 20 at least. But this one's probably going over. Let me check. Oh, yeah, this one's going over. Keeping it around 20 minutes for the top 20 of all time by your host, Dav. Yeah, I'll leave the essential Daft Punk playlist in the description too, along with any other secret doorways that I want you guys to see. Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. It's gonna be it's gonna be a fun way down to number one. Oh, you guys want to hear you guys want to hear the next band? Are you guys ready for it? Get your pen and paper out. Take some notes. All right. Number 18 is Pixies.